Salams everyone, it is Friday 12th July 2013 and it is about 4:15 in the morning, and the second day of Ramadan has come to a close. The third has now finally just begun. This month is going by really quickly, and I mean really quickly. So I'm essentially just trying to make these vlogs just to give myself a little bit of a perspective, see where I'm going, analyze how each day has gone in this month so far, and try and change myself in a better way, inshallah. But there's two things that I just observed, mainly today, that really struck me. The first was actually mentioned in a lecture earlier today in mosque by Sheikh Abbas Jafar, where he made the analogy of a ship, and what happens is 11 months of the year a ship is in its comfort zone in the water, but once a year, in 30 days, it is taken to what is called dry docks. So in dry docks, it's taken to dry land, it's lifted up out of the water, out of its comfort zone, and you can see the underside of the ship, all the scratches, all the marks, all the seaweed build up, and it just gives all the engineers and painters and whatnot just to have a chance to have a look at all the various different faults and problems in the ship, and correct all the various different problems. But the fact of the matter is this analogy is actually very, very pertinent, because with this analogy what we can see is the faults and the marks and the problems that the ship has had over the 11 months. You can only actually see it once it's actually out of the water, once it's actually out of its comfort zone. And it's a very powerful point to make, and I think the same point applies to us, that throughout this month, the month of Ramadan, we are taken out of our comfort zone, right? And our comfort zone being that usually, we can eat 3 times a day, we can drink whenever we like. We have now got certain restrictions placed on us throughout the day, which has actually taken us completely out of our comfort zone, and by doing so, it gives us a better opportunity to have a look at the various different vices and the various different faults that we have, and inshallah, try and identify them and correct them, throughout the month, because it gives the chance to be in dry docks, if you see what I mean. So that's one thing that I observed. And quickly, the second thing is we've been advised throughout the month, the recitation of the Holy Quran, to try and develop a foundation, a relationship with it, but also the power of dua as well. And it's quite amazing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't just expect us to obviously just recite this dua and then expect sort of a pot of gold to fall out of the sky for the poor or whatever. We have to actually do something about it. So one thing that perhaps we could do, and it's something that's highlighted here, we recite this dua in every day throughout the month of Ramadan. It starts with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Allahumma adkhil ala ahli al-qubur as-surur, Allahumma aghni kulla faqir, etc, etc. And there are about sort of 12, 13 different things that we ask from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when we're actually praying for others. And this is a great time to actually, take each individual verse, and perhaps over the series of a whole year, you've got about 12 or 13 verses here. We obviously got 12 months in the year. And with every month, you could try and focus on one verse and how you will actually try and proactively try and implement these particular du'as that we're reciting. So when we ask Allah, Allahumma adkhil ala ahli al-qubur as-surur, we don't just simply ask Allah to simply, gladden the people of the graves. What are we doing, for the people of the graves? We got to actually do something proactive. For example, for a whole month, we might recite Surah Yasin, right at the end of the day before we go to sleep, or recite Surah Fatiha for a certain person. Try and remember the shaheed that have died simply for believing in the wilayah of Amir al-Mu'mineen. These sort of small little things, is something that we can try and do perhaps on a monthly basis and focus on various different things. So inshallah, those are my 2 observations, and hopefully, it's something that I can apply in myself first, and perhaps you all can benefit, inshallah. Peace be with you all, and inshallah I will see you same time tomorrow. Khuda Hafiz.